Okay. So, yeah, today we're going to be switching over to something new. And by new, I mean it's really just switching over to a different soundtrack from the same series. And yeah, we're going to be taking a look at Overture. I did say I was going to either pick Overture or probably BlazBlue. And I figured that Overture would be better of a soundtrack to have a direct comparison to. With Strive soundtrack, since we basically just finished it up. There's only a couple of songs left and the DLC characters when they come out, but, you know, save that for another time. But yeah, anyways, we are going to check out Izuna's theme, which is Hiruandon, I believe is how you say it. And yeah, Izuna's theme, so the difference between this and like with the Strive soundtrack is that I know a lot of the Overture soundtrack. I played along to this a lot, like 10 years ago, like 10-ish years ago. I played along to this soundtrack a lot, specifically Izuna's theme, That Man, and Diva. So those three songs I know fairly well, and I thought we'd start on, this is like my second favorite song off the soundtrack. I really love Izuna's theme, and he's a really cool character. It's a shame he's not in Strive. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's kick off Izuna's theme, and it's gonna sound freaking sick because it is a banger of a song. So let's hit play. Alright, we're going to stop it at the 23-second mark because there's already a lot that's going on in Izuna's theme that's fucking sick. And one of the things that makes this one of my favorite songs off of Overture is that it blends in traditional Japanese instruments with metal, and it does it so damn well. Like, you hear all of the, I believe it's you hear like a shamisen or something going on. You hear the little it's like that drum that makes the little boop 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 noise. I forget what it's called, but it mixes its traditional Japanese instruments with metal, and it does it really well. Another thing that you're going to hear is the games that come after Overture, which is Hardcore Uprising and BlazBlue from Arc System Works, have a very big Overture influence in them. This was when Daisuke was, I think, literally at his prime, because those three soundtracks had like the best guitar tone, and I don't know what he was doing, because like a lot of the guitar stuff that's going on is nuts. And one of the cool things is how he uses the way that the Japanese write music. So like traditional Japanese music. So one of the first things that you hear is the right? He's playing this. You've probably heard this before. This is a pretty common thing to hear, but it's... That's what he's going off of. Right? So he's playing that, so it's... Right? So that's that, just to give you a hint, and if you've seen Izuna's design, you understand why it sounds the way it does. But let's back it up and let's start from the beginning. Okay, so I messed that part up, but it's right. So let me back that up. I cannot play along to it right now, but yeah, it's let's try it again. And then we're getting into the main melody of the song. All right, so I basically played it for you. Like I said, I played this a lot back in the early days, so a lot of this is pretty much straight from memory, and a lot of it is just flubbing around in the general area where it's supposed to be, because I didn't practice any of this beforehand, but I'm just going off of what my muscle memory was from like 7-8 years ago. So yeah, it's a really cool melody. And you'll hear a lot of this influence from Izuna's theme. Now, which, by the way, this is very early BlazBlue inspired, like, not inspired, but BlazBlue heavily sounds like this in its early days in the CTCS, Calamity Trigger Continuum Shift era. You'll hear this in Hakumen's theme. Like, I'll just play a quick segment of Hakumen's theme, and you'll definitely hear it in this part as well as the part that's coming up right now. So let's go ahead and let's back it up just a bit. Right here. Listen to the chords that are going on. Let me pause it and back it up again. Listen to the chords going on underneath. The rhythm section of Overture's pieces are nuts, and they sound so goddamn awesome. Just listen to what the guitar player is laying down underneath the flute. All right, here it comes. So a lot of it is a lot of it's attributed to, as well, the fact that Daisuke's tone, the guitarist's tone on this album, is sick as hell. I love how it sounds. The guitar tone is so goddamn awesome. It's like it's so hard to not gush over the Overture soundtrack, because it is literally one of the best video game soundtracks ever laid down. and I will stand by that opinion. So let's kick it up, let's back it up and go back to this part, because this part's fun too. All right. All right, we're pausing again. But yeah, no, see, this is what I mean, is that it just for what Overture is, like Overture as a game, right? Not many people liked, but this is what plays when two players just happen to cross into each other, into combat with each other. And this was for like I think this predates or is at like the beginning of where MOBA started, and it's very MOBA-ish, except from a third-person view. But listen to the riff that's going on, just... Right? It's just, it goes in, it's riffing, it's got sick leads, everything is just, it's, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's just this song, this was the first song that I heard from Overture, and immediately I was like, I'm gonna love this album. This album is so sick. Especially this part is just, it's great. Right here. Now we're double timing it a bit. We got little gallops going on. And then we're back to, see, this is what I mean. This part with the flute is also very Hakumen. I believe there is actually a section in Hakumen's original theme that sounds exactly like this. So let's back this up. Also, the Kabuki Theater, that thing, I don't know what it's called. I don't know what is this, right? And then we got the solo. And now we're back into the main riff. The solo isn't... So the solo isn't the most, like, technical thing, you know, it's playing still in the same key as the, it's still playing in the same, you know, melody as the other part, It's still playing in that same, in the same box, but it fits. It just sounds great. You know, the solo doesn't need to be super shred-tastic. It doesn't need to be... Right? They obviously could have just went and straight shredded the shit out of it, but it fits. It's just great for what it is. And then it goes right back into the main melody that we got in this, I guess you'd call it chorus. or pre-chorus, verse. No, this would probably be like verse because the chorus is, I would call this next part. I would call this part the chorus. But yeah, no, there's just, what can I say? It's such a good song. And that's it. That's the end of the song. Hiruandon is such a high energy song, and for the character, it fits super well. It's such a well done song, and it's honestly, it's a really good introduction into the Overture soundtrack because most of the soundtrack sounds like that. Not the traditional Japanese with the metal, but it's got good riff writing, it's got good leads and melodies, it's got great song structure, and it's just one of those songs where I think pretty much every character theme fits perfectly, especially when you get into Keep Yourself Alive 3 and Holy Orders 3, which you guys will have heard Holy Orders 3, it's in Exurd. If you guys have played Exurd, then you'll know what I'm talking about. When Kai's hair falls down, it plays the Overture version of Holy Orders. And yeah, the soundtrack goes in very hard, and there's a reason why Daisuke, at least at the time, I don't know about now with Strive out, but Daisuke considered this his magnum opus, his best soundtrack that he's ever done. And yeah, there's a reason why, and you'll see it as we go through the songs, if you of course don't already know about the Overture soundtrack. For those of you who don't, and we're going over it, then you guys are going to be very much surprised by the entire soundtrack. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the video. If you want to go and support us in a bunch of different ways, there's the Patreon that this stuff comes out a day before. All these videos are released a day in advance for people who are any tier over on Patreon. There's a Teespring store where you can get the merch to help support the channel. There's the water bottle where I get a slight commission off of it if you go and purchase one. It doesn't cost anything extra, it just gives me a slight kickback on every purchase that's made through the affiliate links below. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You can follow us on all the socials, subscribe to the channel, share this around, and put down in the comments what your favorite Overture theme is if you guys know the soundtrack. And what other soundtracks do you want me to look at? I'm currently after Overture, thinking either Isuka, the Korean soundtrack for Guilty Gear, Blaze Blue, King of Fighters, old school Killer Instinct, or even the new most recent one. There's a whole bunch. But yeah, other than that, I will catch you guys later. Take care, everybody. Peace.